3 minutes, real quick. Financial topic. What's a budget?
A plan.
Financial plan that measures what?
Output.
How much money comes in, how much money goes out. Oh, please God, not too much, right? Budget. So you got money coming in, you got money coming out, and if you plan this stuff in advance and keep a control on it, you don't bounce checks, you don't come up a week short of money and have to go to Snappy Strickland to borrow money. You are very much in control of your finances. Well, that's your budget. Too many people, individuals, don't run a budget, don't write a budget, don't live on a budget. They get themselves in trouble. What's the easiest way to get in trouble in your budget?
Not have one.
Get a credit card. Okay. Oh, at Snappy Strickland, I can make you a credit card loan. Our government has the same problem. Our government has the same problem. They get money in the way of taxes. And they disperse money. Money goes out in two forms. Government spending, where they buy roads and tanks and business automobiles or government buildings or bridges. And they put money out in the form of what we call transfer payments. Which we might want to remember is the term entitlements. Entitlements are things like Social Security, Medicare, various forms of welfare, pensions, retirement pensions to government workers.
That'd also be student loans, right?
It would be student grants, financial aid in the form of grants.
What, because student loans have to be paid back?
Because loans have to be paid back. They're a loan, not a transfer.
Yeah. Well, what about Social Security? It was paid in.
It was paid in and earned interest.
And it paid back. I mean,
so you're receiving the loan that you made earlier. Here you're receiving a loan that you didn't make earlier. All right? What's the problem with our government these days, financially?
Serious debt.
They got less coming in than they got going out. And that means when you have less coming in than you have going out, what do we call that?
In debt.
You have a deficit. The annual amount each year that you overspend is called your deficit. And if you run a deficit of $100 a year for 5 years, you then have $500 of debt. So the government deficit is the annual amount. The government debt is the accumulated borrowing that hasn't been repaid. And we have a huge amount of debt.
15 trillion?
14 plus, yeah. You okay with this?
Yes.
Now, here's the problem. Do we need to repay the debt? Or do we need to create jobs? Create spending. Let's just call it spending. Which is more important?
I say create spending.
Huh? Go ahead.
Is it called a surplus when it's more coming in?
Yeah, when you have more coming in than going out to surplus.
Well, I'd say we need to reduce the deficit, so I guess create spending. It would be first.
You think?
If you're still bleeding.
I don't know if we create enough to fix that much money that quickly, though.
No, I don't know what the deficit. What's the current deficit?
I don't know, off the top of my head. It's huge.
A couple trillion?
Not that much. But
I think it's something like 16 or 18 trillion.
No, I'm not talking about the debt. The debt, we're talking about 14 and a half. But the deficit, like how much?
Annual deficit.
1.5 trillion or 2 trillion.
Wouldn't creating spending create like a financial infrastructure that could then repay the debt?
Well, there's two arguments here. One argument says this is the problem we need to fix first. Because if we keep borrowing money, we're going to get to the point one day, kind of like a Minsky moment, when suddenly people aren't going to loan us any more money. And when they do that, the economy is going to collapse. So we better fix this. Let's do that for a minute. How do you fix this? How do you pay off the debt?
Increase taxes.
You raise taxes on your economy.
And cut government spending.
And you cut government spending. If you do those, what will happen to spending?
It will cut.
What will happen to total spending in the economy?
It will
It'll decrease. People don't have as much money because they're paying taxes. Government employees lose jobs, et cetera, et cetera. And so your unemployment and your recession gets worse. Okay? This approach is called the austerity approach. Take care of the debt.
What's the G goes down?
Government spending. Well, let's look at the other side. How do you create more spending if you're the government?
Decrease taxes.
You decrease taxes and you increase spending, which means, by the way, you have to borrow more money. So if you do this, your debt gets bigger. At least initially. So basically, it's a the horns of a dilemma.
What's this one called?
This one is called stimulus. We stimulate the economy by spending more money and giving people lower taxes.
Yeah, but the only problem is they've been doing it for years now, and it's not really
working.
But you argue that if you decrease taxes,
It
you're going
goes along
to
the
tax
same
revenue.
line of-
If you decrease the tax rate, no, the second one, then the tax revenue will decrease. But that's not necessarily true, based on what history shows.
Not true.
Is that as spending goes up, tax revenue increases, even though it's at a lower rate.
As the economy grows, tax revenue will rise. But this won't necessarily do it all. But give me some time to come back to that, okay?
I was about to say, with what we've been doing, the only thing it's done is the same as,
Here's part of the issue. If you don't do this really strong to the economy, it's not going to help and you're just going to be further in debt. That's what we've done. We've done a half-assed approach to this. Okay? And so the economy's not any better. But it is much better than it would have been. We'd be looking at probably 10 to 12% unemployment today. So we did some good when we did this, but we didn't do enough to really build the economy back up into a good, strong economy where we're collecting more taxes so we can pay off the debt. And so the big argument today in economics, and it's not just the United States, Europe has the same problem, is which one do we do? Which one's better for the economy? And so what I would ask you over the next couple of weeks, do a little reading in that direction. Use the discussion forum. If you find a good article, post it on the discussion forum with a URL so we can go read it. I'll do the same thing. Stay tuned on Angel. When I find some interesting stuff I think you ought to read, I'll post it, but you feel free to post. Make your own comments, whatever. And let's dabble in some macroeconomics.
The debt that you're referring to, like we talked about, the 14, 15 trillion, most of that is in treasury bonds that are owned by China and foreign.
Most of it's owned by Americans.
Really?
But China owns more than any other single entity.
So if you say we fail to repay that debt, not only does our economy fail,
China goes...
They go with us.
Yeah. So they have a vested interest in not letting us fail. I love to have them there. Right there where we want them. They need us as bad as we need them. Okay? Thank you for your patience. Last question.
The macro, the economics that you've added, are we being tested on?
Yes,
that?
you will.
Okay. Just making sure that.
You bet. Okay? I'll see you in 2 weeks. Correspond with me. Please check in with me on Angel. If you have not done so, let me know you're in the course. That's how I record attendance.